The secret loneliness of beautiful women. Beauty is often described as a blessing, a gift that opens doors and captures admiration. From the earliest myths to the modern world of media, the image of a beautiful woman has always been celebrated, envied, and desired. Society paints beauty as the highest form of power a woman can possess. Yet hidden behind the admiration and envy lies a truth rarely spoken: beauty can also be a source of deep isolation. The beautiful woman is admired by many, but understood by few. Surrounded by attention, she can feel completely alone. Her loneliness is not always visible, because the world assumes that admiration equals fulfillment. But what if the reality is the opposite? What if being constantly seen prevents one from ever being truly known? Let us explore the hidden psychology and philosophy of this paradox, the secret loneliness of beautiful women. 1. The illusion of abundance. At first glance, a beautiful woman appears to have an abundance of everything: affection, attention, opportunities, admiration. Strangers smile at her. Men are eager to impress her. Women notice her presence with both curiosity and envy. But abundance of attention is not the same as abundance of connection. In fact, it often creates the opposite. The constant flood of superficial admiration makes it harder for her to distinguish who is genuine and who is not. She is given many offers of company, but few offers of understanding. This creates a strange emptiness. The more she is surrounded by people, the lonelier she feels. It is the paradox of being visible to all, yet truly seen by none. 2. Trust becomes a battle for the beautiful woman. Trust is never simple. She wonders: does this person care about me, or about what I represent? Does he love my soul, or the image he has of me? Would they still be here if I were not beautiful? Every gesture of affection carries doubt. The more admiration she receives, the more she questions its authenticity. Over time, she may build emotional walls, not because she dislikes people, but because she cannot risk being hurt by false intentions. Psychologically, this constant questioning is exhausting. She longs for sincerity, but sincerity is difficult to find when others approach with masks. 3. Envy creates distance among women. Beauty can create invisible barriers. Friends may secretly compare themselves to her. Strangers may judge her without reason. She is sometimes treated as if she has an unfair advantage, as if her life must be effortless simply because of her looks. This envy isolates her. She may lose friendships because others feel insecure. She may face criticism when she makes mistakes, because people expect her to always be perfect. Philosophically, this reflects a flaw in human nature. We often resent in others what we secretly desire for ourselves. But for the beautiful woman, this resentment creates distance where connection could exist. 4. The pedestal is a prison. Society places the beautiful woman on a pedestal. She is admired, praised, even worshipped in some ways. But the pedestal is not a place of freedom, it is a cage. On the pedestal, she is no longer allowed to be fully human. She must always look perfect, act gracefully, and embody the ideal. Her mistakes are magnified, her flaws criticized, her humanity denied. The pedestal seems like admiration, but it is actually pressure. And pressure isolates, because it prevents her from being vulnerable. Without vulnerability, intimacy cannot grow. And without intimacy, loneliness thrives. 5. Desire without respect. Desire follows beauty everywhere. But desire alone is not love, and admiration alone is not respect. Many see her as an object to be possessed rather than a soul to be cherished. This constant objectification devalues her essence. A man may pursue her passionately, but if his desire is only for her body, his love will not last. Over time, she learns the painful truth: being desired is not the same as being valued. This creates one of the deepest wounds of all, feeling wanted but not respected. 6. The fear of being misunderstood. The beautiful woman often hides her deeper thoughts, fears, and insecurities, because past experience has taught her that most people are not interested in them. Too often, her words are dismissed, her struggles minimized, her wisdom ignored. Why? Because people assume beauty equals happiness. They imagine her life must be easy, her path effortless, her heart always full. This assumption becomes a barrier. If she tries to share her pain, it is met with disbelief or even jealousy. And so, she carries her struggles in silence. She laughs when she wants to cry. She plays the role others expect of her, while hiding her real self. Over time, this silence becomes heavy, deepening her loneliness. 7. Aging is a silent anxiety for many women. Aging is natural. But for the beautiful woman, aging carries an extra layer of fear. Society values her primarily for her looks, so she wonders, what will remain when beauty fades? Will I still be loved, admired, respected? Or will I be forgotten? This silent anxiety follows her like a shadow. She may invest heavily in her appearance, not out of vanity, but out of fear of losing value in the eyes of the world. Every wrinkle feels like a warning. Every sign of time becomes a reminder of mortality, not just of the body, but of the identity society gave her. Philosophically, this is tragic, because true beauty lies in character, wisdom, and spirit. Yet society rarely celebrates those qualities. Thus, her loneliness is not only in the present, it also lives in her fear of the future. 8. The mask of confidence. The beautiful woman is expected to be confident. People assume her self-esteem must be unshakable. After all, how could someone admired by so many ever feel insecure? But the truth is often the opposite. Because she is constantly compared, constantly judged, constantly observed, she feels pressure to maintain an image of perfection. Even when she feels small, she must look strong. Even when she feels uncertain, she must smile as though nothing can harm her. This mask of confidence becomes another source of isolation. No one sees the real struggles beneath. They fall in love with the mask, not the person. And when you are loved for a mask, you are not loved at all. 9. Relationships built on illusion. Beauty often attracts relationships quickly. But many of these connections are built on illusion, not reality. A man may fall in love with her appearance, projecting fantasies onto her. He sees not who she is, but who he imagines her to be. When reality eventually breaks the illusion, disappointment follows. He withdraws, and she is left alone again, wondering if anyone will ever see her true self. This repeated pattern deepens her distrust. Each failed relationship reinforces the fear that she is loved only for her looks, never for her essence. 10. The loneliness of being too desired. It may sound strange, but sometimes being desired by many creates more isolation than being desired by few. For the beautiful woman, constant desire can feel overwhelming, even suffocating. She becomes cautious of kindness, suspicious of interest, guarded against compliments. Instead of feeling flattered, she feels objectified. Instead of feeling free, she feels hunted. This is why some of the most beautiful women in history have confessed to feeling more isolated than ordinary people imagine. The very thing the world envies, their desirability, becomes the root of their loneliness. 11. The weight of expectations. Beauty does not just attract admiration, it attracts expectations. A beautiful woman is expected to be graceful, elegant, always put together. If she shows anger, she is judged as arrogant. If she shows sadness, she is called ungrateful. If she makes a mistake, people are harsher with her than they would be with others. She is rarely allowed to be ordinary. Ordinary women can be tired, insecure, or imperfect without much attention. But when a beautiful woman shows the same human traits, it becomes a spectacle. People whisper, "How could someone like her struggle?" This constant pressure isolates her. She feels she cannot reveal her true emotions without being misunderstood. And so, she hides them. The more she hides, the more invisible she feels inside. 12. The fragility of friendships. Friendship is meant to be a place of trust and safety. Yet for many beautiful women, it is one of the hardest things to sustain. Other women may feel threatened by her, assuming she will steal attention or partners. Men may approach friendship only as a mask for hidden attraction. This makes it difficult to find genuine connections. She may be surrounded by many acquaintances, yet lack true friends who see her soul. The loneliness of having many around but no one close is one of the most painful forms of isolation. Philosophically, this reveals a human weakness. When we compare ourselves too much to others, we lose the ability to truly connect. 13. The silent cry for authenticity. Deep inside, the beautiful woman longs for authenticity. She wants someone who will look past her appearance, who will listen without assumptions, who will not reduce her to a reflection. Her secret cry is not for more admiration, but for authenticity. For someone who dares to see her as flawed, vulnerable, human, and still stays. But such authenticity is rare, because most are blinded by surface beauty. And so, she continues her search, often in silence. 14. The battle with identity. When the world defines a woman by her beauty, she faces a difficult battle, to define herself beyond it. She may ask herself, who am I, if not beautiful? What remains of me when the world stops admiring? This inner questioning can lead to deep insecurity, but it can also lead to profound wisdom. For when she discovers her identity beyond appearance, her values, her spirit, her intelligence, she becomes free. But until that self-discovery happens, she often feels trapped in an identity chosen for her, not by her. And being trapped in an identity is one of the most isolating experiences of all. 15. The mirror is both friend and enemy. The mirror reflects what the world celebrates, but it also reflects what she fears. It reminds her of her gift, but also of its fragility. Each morning, the mirror says, "You are valued for this." Each night, it whispers, "One day, this will fade." This relationship with the mirror is complicated. Some days it gives confidence, other days it steals peace. And because society reinforces the mirror's voice, she struggles to escape it. Philosophically, the mirror symbolizes illusion, the difference between appearance and essence. To be trapped in appearance is to live in constant tension with the truth of the soul. 16. The isolation of being misunderstood. One of the greatest pains of a beautiful woman is the feeling of being misunderstood. People assume she is confident because of her looks, but in reality, she may battle with deep self-doubt. They assume she is everything she wants, yet she may feel profoundly unfulfilled. This misunderstanding creates a wall. When she tries to speak about her struggles, others dismiss them. "What problems could you possibly have?" That dismissal silences her. She learns that her pain is invisible to the world, and invisibility is a lonely place to live. 17. Love based on illusion. Many men fall in love with the idea of a beautiful woman, not the reality of her. They love the image, the fantasy, the social status of being with someone admired by others. But when real life appears, with flaws, moods, and vulnerabilities, some retreat. For the woman, this is heartbreaking. She wonders, do they love me, or do they love how I look? The fear that love is conditional, based only on appearance, eats away at her trust. Real love, she learns, is not common. And until she finds it, her heart carries a quiet loneliness even in relationships. 18. The burden of envy. Envy surrounds beauty like a shadow. Other women may resent her for the attention she receives, without seeing the weight that comes with it. Some may secretly hope for her failure, as if her pain would balance their own insecurities. This makes her cautious. She cannot easily share her joys without fearing that they will be twisted into jealousy. She cannot easily share her sorrows without being told she has no right to complain. Thus, envy becomes a silent prison. She feels watched, judged, envied, and yet unseen for who she truly is. 19. The paradox of abundance and emptiness. On the surface, a beautiful woman appears to have abundance, admiration, opportunities, attention. But inside, she may feel emptiness, because none of these satisfy the deepest human needs, for authenticity, for unconditional love, for inner peace. This paradox is one of life's deepest ironies, that those who seem to have everything may often feel they have nothing of true value. Beauty may open doors, but it does not guarantee fulfillment. 20. The search for inner anchor. Over time, many beautiful women realize they must find an inner anchor, a place of stability not tied to appearance. Some turn to philosophy, others to spirituality, creativity, or service to others. This search is the path from loneliness to wholeness. When she builds her worth on something eternal, not external, she begins to feel free. She learns that true beauty is not in the mirror, but in the soul that can love, create, and endure. And in that discovery, the secret loneliness begins to transform into secret strength. 21. The fear of vulnerability. A beautiful woman often hides her vulnerabilities, because the world expects her to be flawless. If she admits to insecurity, people mock her. "How could someone like you feel insecure?" If she admits to loneliness, they dismiss it, "But you have so many admirers." So she learns to wear a mask of strength. But this mask, while protecting her from judgment, also isolates her. For true connection requires vulnerability. And when she cannot show her weaknesses, she cannot feel fully known. The mask becomes her prison. 22. The silent pressure of time. Time is a quiet enemy in her story. Society tells her that beauty fades, and with it, her value. Every wrinkle, every change becomes a reminder of this cultural cruelty. She may fear the future. What will I be when I am no longer seen as beautiful? This fear deepens her loneliness, for it makes her question the permanence of her worth. Philosophically, this is the tragedy of a society that worships youth and appearance instead of wisdom and character. It forces the beautiful woman to race against time, rather than embrace it. 23. The double-edged sword of desire. Beauty attracts desire. Men want her, women want to be like her, society wants to use her image. But desire is rarely the same as love. She becomes desired but not truly cherished, admired but not truly understood. Desire objectifies, love humanizes. And until she finds the latter, she feels profoundly alone even in the center of attention. This is one of the cruelest paradoxes, to be wanted by many, yet truly known by none. 24. The unspoken rivalries in social circles. Beautiful women often face unspoken rivalries. Other women may compete with them silently, measuring themselves against an invisible standard. This creates tension, jealousy, and distance. Friendships may be poisoned by comparison. Trust may be broken by envy. And so, the beautiful woman often withdraws. She protects herself from betrayal by keeping her circle small, or by keeping no circle at all. Thus, her world becomes quieter, but also lonelier. 25. The awakening to inner power. Yet loneliness, though painful, can also awaken wisdom. Many beautiful women, after years of struggling with shallow admiration, come to a profound realization that their true power lies not in appearance, but in spirit. They learn to shift the focus from being admired to being authentic, from being desired to being deeply valued, from being watched to being truly known. And in this awakening, loneliness begins to transform into solitude, where she is no longer isolated, but instead at peace with herself. 26. The invisible burden of perfection. To the outside world, beauty looks like freedom. But to the woman who carries it, beauty can feel like a chain. She feels the constant need to be perfect: hair, skin, body, smile. Not because she always wants it, but because the world demands it. If she steps outside without makeup, people notice. If she gains a little weight, whispers begin. If she looks tired, someone comments, "Are you okay? You don't look the same." This relentless pressure leaves her exhausted. She begins to fear that her value rests only on her ability to meet others' expectations. And this silent exhaustion makes her feel alone, even when surrounded by people. 27. The distrust of compliments. Compliments should bring joy. But for a beautiful woman, they are often a source of doubt. When someone praises her, she wonders, do they see me, or just my appearance? This doubt makes her suspicious. She may smile politely, but inside she feels distant. Compliments remind her not of her worth, but of how easily people focus on the surface. Over time, she learns that words of admiration do not guarantee sincerity. And so, even praise can deepen her sense of loneliness. 28. The weight of social media. In today's world, beauty is magnified and judged on screens. A beautiful woman may gain thousands of followers, but this rarely brings her closer to true connection. Instead, it exposes her to endless comparison, criticism, and objectification. Every post becomes a performance. Every picture is measured against others. She becomes a brand, not a person. And while her online image may look powerful, her inner self may feel fragile. Philosophically, this reflects a modern tragedy, the replacement of authentic relationships with digital illusions. The more she is seen online, the less she may feel truly seen in life. 29. The prison of stereotypes. Society often assumes that a beautiful woman cannot also be intelligent, serious, or wise. She is boxed into stereotypes. She must be shallow. She must be high maintenance. She must rely on her looks. When she tries to speak of philosophy, wisdom, or ambition, people may underestimate her. This underestimation cuts deeply. For she knows she has more to offer, but the world often refuses to listen. Thus, she hides parts of herself. She learns to limit her words, her dreams, her depth. And hiding her essence, once again, fuels her loneliness. 30. The longing for soul-deep love. Above all, the secret loneliness of a beautiful woman comes from her longing for love that goes beyond appearances. She does not want to be worshipped like a statue, she wants to be embraced as a human being. She longs for a love that sees her when she is not perfect, that stays when she is vulnerable, that values her essence more than her image. But because such love is rare, she often feels that her heart lives in waiting. Waiting for someone who can see the soul behind the beauty. 31. The inner dialogue of doubt. Even when admired, she may quietly ask herself, do they really love me, or do they love what I represent? This inner dialogue never ends. It shadows her relationships, her friendships, even her family ties. It is a lonely feeling to question the sincerity of those around you. And yet, for the beautiful woman, this questioning becomes a constant companion. 32. The power of transformation. Yet within this loneliness lies the seed of transformation. For when she realizes that the world cannot give her the depth she seeks, she begins to search within. She learns to define beauty not as appearance, but as presence. Not as perfection, but as authenticity. Not as admiration, but as wisdom. And when she embraces this inner truth, her loneliness begins to evolve into solitude, a sacred space where she is no longer empty, but whole. 33. The journey to self-understanding. The loneliness of a beautiful woman often becomes the path to deeper self-understanding. When admiration fades or fails to bring fulfillment, she turns inward. This turning inward is a form of courage, a decision to face herself without the applause of the crowd. In psychology, this is the journey toward individuation, a term Carl Jung used to describe the process of becoming whole. For her, individuation means separating her identity from the reflection in the eyes of others. It means learning to value herself for her mind, her heart, her purpose. This journey is not easy. It involves confronting fears, fear of being unseen, fear of aging, fear of losing worth. But in facing these fears, she discovers that her true value was never tied solely to beauty, it is tied to the essence of who she is. 34. The wisdom born from loneliness. Loneliness is often portrayed as a weakness, but for the beautiful woman who embraces it, loneliness becomes a teacher. Through solitude, she learns lessons few others have the opportunity to learn. That beauty is fleeting, but character endures. That the desire of others does not guarantee love. That connection comes from authenticity, not admiration. This wisdom changes her perspective. She begins to see beauty as a doorway rather than a definition, a gateway to deeper connection with herself and others. Philosophically, this echoes the ancient idea that suffering can be the path to enlightenment. Her loneliness becomes the soil in which her soul grows. 35. The courage to be seen. After years of living behind masks, the mask of perfection, the mask of confidence, she may reach a point where she longs to be truly seen. Not for her beauty, but for her humanity. This courage is rare. It requires vulnerability, honesty, and the willingness to risk rejection. But when she dares to let others see her authentic self, a remarkable transformation occurs. The loneliness begins to dissolve. She discovers that being truly seen, flaws, fears, and all, is the antidote to the isolation she has known. 36. Redefining beauty. The greatest transformation comes when she redefines beauty itself. Beauty is not simply physical, it is a harmony of mind, body, and spirit. It is not something given, but something cultivated. Psychologically, this shift frees her from the prison of appearance. She begins to see her worth in her values, her resilience, her capacity for love. She understands that beauty is not about being admired, but about inspiring connection, kindness, and truth. This redefinition transforms loneliness into a form of empowerment. She becomes whole not because others validate her, but because she validates herself. 37. The power of solitude. Solitude is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is an absence, solitude is a presence, the presence of oneself. The beautiful woman who learns solitude no longer depends on external validation. She creates her own sanctuary of self-worth. She finds joy in her own company, strength in her own silence, peace in her own being. Solitude becomes her greatest gift, turning her secret loneliness into a quiet power that the world cannot take away. 38. The gift she offers the world. When a beautiful woman transcends her loneliness, she offers the world something rare, presence. Not a superficial presence based on appearance, but a deep presence that touches the soul. She offers compassion, because she has known isolation. She offers understanding, because she has been misunderstood. She offers wisdom, because her journey has taught her truths others overlook. Her beauty becomes more than skin deep, it becomes a light that shines from within. 39. The secret that must be shared. The secret loneliness of beautiful women is not just a personal struggle, it is a lesson for us all. It teaches us that admiration is not enough, that connection is born in seeing the soul, and that true beauty is a unity of outer grace and inner truth. This lesson challenges us to look deeper in all our relationships. It calls us to honor the essence of a person, not just the surface. It reminds us that the heart behind the beauty often carries a quiet story worth hearing. 40. The final reflection. Beauty can be a blessing, but it can also be a burden. For the beautiful woman, the secret loneliness is the cost of living in a world that prizes appearance over depth. It is a loneliness born from misunderstanding, envy, objectification, and the loss of authenticity. But within this loneliness lies a profound possibility, the possibility of transformation. When she learns to look beyond her reflection, to value herself for her essence, to seek connection grounded in truth, she transcends her isolation. Her journey teaches us that beauty is not a prize to be won, but a path to be walked. And that the deepest fulfillment comes not from being admired, but from being truly seen.